I really came at it from coaching and just how could I give them the best information and build them up and help them be successful. I found like a little bit of a kind of secret that nobody else in those industries had really tapped into. It was kind of like a light bulb went off when that happened. And I was like, there are some amazing companies in our market that people need to know about, and they just need help with it. Now, I ran into a carpenter one time, just beautiful, like the work he did, just beautiful. And he was amazing at what he did, but nobody knew who he was. Home service companies, contractors, construction, home builders, and then outdoor companies, super successful businesses, but they just didn't know what to do, and they didn't have time to learn, and they didn't have time to implement all the things that they needed to do. And that's really how Heartland Creative Agency was born. It's like, our mission is to help those types of businesses tell the story and show the community how awesome these people are at what they do, and how awesome these businesses are at solving their problems, so that they can generate more business and have consistent work showing up all the time. So how do we get here? Growing up, my dreams weren't to own a marketing agency. Actually, I wanted to, be a professional athlete. I think when I got into high school, I realized that wasn't going to happen. But I loved playing sports and loved being around the game, and I really wanted to be a coach. That was my dream. I went to college. I wanted to be a teacher and just coach baseball and football. I realized in college that maybe teaching wouldn't be a really financial great move to take care of family. And so I switched over to the business world with the idea, of still coaching. And the coaching kind of didn't happen. It's a tough gig, especially if you have a wife and kids. I coached some baseball after college for a high school team, and then kind of got out of it until youngest son Camden. I've coached him in football and baseball every year. But I really replaced that in the business world. That was probably like the move or the strategy that helped me be successful in the business world, And so a lot of my career I've spent in financial services. I was a mortgage lender. I owned a financial planning firm. I really took a coaching approach to those industries. And so when I would have a customer or client, I really came at it from coaching and just how could I, give them the best information and build them up and help them be successful. I had kind of found a marketing niche on social media, and I'd built 2 businesses just through Facebook marketing in the 2010s. So I had found like a little bit of a kind of secret that nobody else in those industries had really tapped into. And then fast forward to the pandemic, everybody was having to find different ways to market their business, online, because you couldn't show up to networking events. And that's where I really dove headfirst into video content. I've always loved creating content and being creative as a person. I started doing photography in 2008, had a photography business. That was great. Did a lot of commercial photography, shot for brands and stuff like that. And then also I was a musician. I played in a rock and roll band for many years. And then I was in a country rock band, really popular one around here in Iowa for several years. And then even recorded a country record several years ago. And so I love playing guitar, I love singing. Just love being creative. And what's awesome about creating content and using a video camera is that you get to use a lot of creative energy on all different facets of creating content. You've got the video portion, which is kind of like photography, but then you've also got like the storytelling and trying to find creative ways to tell a story. And that stuff just hooked me. And it was in early 2020 when I was really learning how to do videography that I kind of started morphing that into video marketing. Here in the Quad Cities, I started producing all of the content for our clients. So we'd come out, we'd shoot all the video, grab the photo content, and put it together and deliver it to them so that they had the content ready and made. It had a strategy, it had a plan. The videos had great hooks. They had SEO and keyword heavy scripts. They had good call to actions, all the things that make a really good marketing video convert. They now had that stuff. And we just started taking a comprehensive approach to how we took care of our clients so that they just didn't feel like they had to do it all themselves. And that was the big thing I saw in our market, especially with the types of clients that we specialize in working with. Home service companies, contractors, construction, home builders, and then outdoor companies, lawn care, landscapers, those types of companies, is that they just don't have time. And if you're watching this video, you probably are feeling that as a business owner. Like, you are running your crews, you're sending out quotes, you're doing sales calls, you're sometimes operating equipment, you're having to do all the stuff that it takes to run your business and be a practitioner of something that you're really good at. And the marketing thing, it's important, and you may know that you have to get out there and get in front of people, but you just don't have time to do it. And quite frankly, you probably feel like you have no idea what the heck you're doing. And that's what I found, is that there's just all these business owners out here who have super successful businesses, but they just didn't know what to do, and they didn't have time to learn, and they didn't have time to implement all the things that they needed to do. And then furthermore, like, I would run into these companies that were awesome at what they did. Just awesome, like craftsmen at the different trades that they had. I ran into a carpenter one time, just beautiful, like the work he did, just beautiful. He was a carpenter that would build new houses, and like he would do all of the trim work and custom built-ins inside these homes. And he was amazing at what he did, but nobody knew who he was. And it was kind of like a light bulb went off when that happened. And I was like, there are some amazing companies in our market that people need to know about, and they just need help with it. And that's really how Heartland Creative Agency was born, is like, our mission is to help those types of businesses. And what we want to do is just generate as much attention and tell the story and show the community how awesome these people are at what they do, and how awesome these businesses are at solving their problems, so that they can generate more business and that they can grow and be sustained and have consistent work showing up all the time. Because it can be a struggle, in home service types of businesses. It can be very cyclical. And like, these guys are so good, they shouldn't be struggling. And it's literally just, they are not marketing right way, and they're just not generating enough attention for their company. One example I always use with potential clients is like, a lot of times people, when they go to vote for a politician, especially like local, they vote for the person or the candidate that they recognize. They just recognize the name. Maybe they've seen the name on a lot of signs, or they've seen it on social media or somewhere. And they don't really know a lot about that candidate, but it's just name recognition. And that's kind of the approach that we need to have when you have a home service business, is that you want to be the name that people recognize, right? All the other stuff, like being good at your craft, being good at your trade, having great customer service, all that stuff, like, that's awesome. Like, we need to have that to be a good business, but we want people to know about you. And that's where the recognition comes in. And that's why we're so passionate about social media marketing and video content, is because everybody's on their phone nowadays. And so if you want to gain recognition in the market, you need to be making video content on social media. That's what we really do. And that's as we pair video content, video marketing with these small businesses, and really help them garner more attention and become more recognizable, have more visibility in their local market. In local market, it's really important. It's a big part of our strategy. It's kind of why I came up with the name, Heartland Creative Agency. Some people ask me how I came up with that. It's just a reflection of me. I'm just a normal, down-to-earth Midwest guy, here in Iowa. I love hunting and I love fishing, and we really take a Midwest and local approach to our marketing. It drives me crazy that some of these guys, they'll hire these marketing agencies and these marketing companies that are, based out of New York or some of the coasts, and they've got people coming up with marketing ideas that have never lived in the Midwest. They don't know the Midwest homeowner, Midwest people. They don't know what they value. They don't know what gets their interest, right? And so I just wanted people to know that, like, hey, we're very down to earth. We're very focused on people here locally in the Midwest, and we understand how to market to those people. We understand how to generate attention for your business that's going to stand out for those people. And so that's how we came up with the name, and that's kind of what we stand for. And I just wanted people to, when they saw our brand and when they heard about our brand, they would feel like local, down to earth Midwest agency that's going to do a good job of taking care of your business's marketing needs. And I really think that stands out in our process. We're very down to earth and we're really focused on what each business needs. And every business is different. Even if I'm working with 5 different lawn care companies, all 5 of them have very different needs because their businesses operate differently. They may have a lot of sales guys, they may not have a lot of sales guys. And so everybody's business is different. And so that's where our process really starts. We offer a full comprehensive marketing platform from ideation all the way to implementation. Typically what we do when we work together is, once we decide to have someone come on board, is we'll sit down and talk strategy. And we're going to figure out what your goals are. What do you want more of? Some businesses just want to convert more on their sales, right? They want their leads to be warmer when they show up to close a sale. And so sometimes we're putting out content that's just going to warm them up more. It's going to teach them more about all the different services that they offer, teach them what the process looks like, so that when that sales guy shows up, they're basically already sold. I just had a meeting with one of our lawn care and landscaping guys, and he was talking about that from last year. He was like, it was so nice. He's like, I literally, every time I walked up somebody's door, to go through a quote, he's like, I felt like they were already sold. He's like, I just didn't have to do any selling. We were just quoting them and then getting it put together and going forward from there. That's just a really great feeling. And that's what's awesome about content, is that it works 24/7 for you. Like, people can be watching your videos at 10:30 at night while you're asleep, or while you're out to dinner with your family, or they can be marketing to them during the day while you're running equipment. It works for you nonstop, and it allows prospective clients or customers to spend time with you and build trust with you. So it's just all about your goals, right? So you want more conversions, we can do that. Sometimes businesses, they need more leads, and so we can run ads for them. We can do organic content that's going to really generate more interest for them. Sometimes they have processes like in their email marketing where they want to send out emails and they want videos that are going to explain their process, because maybe, it's like if you're building a home, like some of our home builders, we create these process playlists for them where they go through and they break down every part of the process and every step. And the reason that they do that is because they get less questions from their customers. They get less bad experiences where people are just wondering what's going on. And so it does a lot of work for them, and so that's the first part of our process, is we're gonna sit down and have a strategy call, figure out exactly what you need and what's gonna work for your business. And then we'll go into and we'll come up with ideas. We do the ideation. Everything's done by our team. Come up with all the video ideas. We'll come up with a basic script if we need to. Everything, the B-roll clips, all that stuff. Clients don't have to come up with any of it. And then the next thing is we create all the content. So if we're shooting video, we're coming out and creating all the videos, whether it's brand videos, whether it's client testimonial videos, whether it's social media reels, which is something we do a lot of social media reels. That's a big part of our agency. Whether it's photo content, whatever it is, we come out, we create all of it. We try to be as efficient as possible so our business owners aren't spending hours every week doing this. Sometimes we have clients that we only grab them for an hour or 2 hours every month and we get all of their content done. We have other bigger clients where we're showing up weekly because they have different projects going on, and so we want to get a variety of projects filmed or content captured for it. So it really just depends, it depends on the client and the customer. And then finally, we do the implementation. So that's where we take all the content, we put it all together, and then we're posting it on social media forums. So we're posting it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, to help them stay consistent with their content. We're writing all of the captions for them. Now that's another big thing. I saw when I was building this is clients really struggle with trying to sit down and come up and write, a caption, and you want somebody that knows marketing, somebody that knows how to write good copy, somebody that knows how to write with SEO in mind and keywords in mind and different things like that, because the algorithms really pick up on what you're writing in the caption because it tells them what the video's about. And so that allows it to put the video in front of the right people, on social media. And so we just found that was a really, really big feature of our agency that our clients really love because they don't have to worry about it. They don't have to sit down and post something every day. We plan it out several weeks ahead and it's just all planned. It posts for them. All they have to do is go in when they get an email and hit approve for it to be scheduled. And they've just found a lot of value in that. So we're able to offer, from ideation to implementation process for all of these small businesses, that run, on kind of a lighter, they don't have a lot of employees, right? Their employees are out doing the jobs. They don't have a lot of revenue to hire full-time marketing employees. And that's really comes back to like our target market and the clients that we really love working with. And it's, those, again, home service businesses, contractors, construction, anyone in that kind of market seems to be who really values what we do. But also like personally, like, those are just the kind of folks I like dealing with. It's fun to make their content, like creatively. I don't know why. I like going out and shooting that stuff and finding a creative way to tell a story about what they're doing. I just like the guys that, a lot of the crews that we get to work with, they're really awesome. I love hanging out with them every week. It's just a lot of fun. Get to be outside, which is always nice. And so that's kind of really our target market. That's what our business is built for. And they seem to have the most success, and they also seem to really benefit from our process in what we do the most. And so I would say kind of what makes us different from other agencies just kind of goes back to where I started and what I wanted to do when I grew up, and that was, the coaching. And I think that's what really makes us different is just, I love coaching and teaching. And so just being able, if I were to put myself on the other side of the lens as, you, the business owner that's probably watching this, is that, you just want somebody that's going to get stuff done, take care of everything that needs to be done. You don't have to babysit them. They're going to teach you, answer questions for you, and really help you be successful. And I think that I bring a lot of coaching and consulting into my business, whereas a lot of other agencies are maybe just more creative focused. And so you kind of get the videographer guy that's kind of a little bit of a nerd, maybe not very sociable, maybe doesn't have a lot of sales skills, probably doesn't have a lot of marketing skills, doesn't maybe have a lot of business executive skills. I'm able to bring all those things from my past experience. I was a chief marketing officer at a $1 billion mortgage company, been a high-level sales executive in many different companies, and I've owned several businesses. And so I'm able to bring all of that experience in as an agency owner and bring it into your business. And so I get to bring all those skills and all of our team and all of our professionals into your business, for less than what you could hire a full-time employee for, and sometimes even a part-time employee for. And so I think that really sets us apart because we have the creative, then we also have the marketing and the business experience, to help you get to the next level that you want to get to. We really value on helping you be consistent in your marketing, along with providing creative assets for your company and your brand to use. We're big on helping you build trust with your prospective clients and even your current clients and customers. You know, trust is the biggest thing that sells. And so that's what we're constantly trying to do. Like, we're constantly thinking about when we're making these videos is how is this going to build trust with someone? How is someone going to see that this company's local here? They're part of the community. They're part of the fabric that makes up this community, because that's what's really going to help someone make a buying decision in the end.